Well, hello and welcome back to Take a Sip with Rob and Kanye. Hey, babe.
Hi.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So we're back with our next episode, and we're still talking about the later daters.
Yeah, episode 4.
But very quickly, if you're not watching the later daters or you haven't watched it, that should not deter you from hanging out with us. We're just really talking smack about relationships and life.
Funny as hell.
We have fun. You bet. We got some vodka flowing. You can feel free to do the same.
Yep.
Coffee or whatever your bed
Take a
is.
sip.
Take a sip, hang out, and we have no idea how long we're going to be here, but we know it'll be fun.
It will definitely be fun.
Indeed. We're talking today about episode 4, Later Daters, episode called It's a Vibe.
It's a vibe.
Was it a vibe?
It was something.
It was something. We definitely are getting to the point where we have our favorites, and there are some that come on the screen and we're like,
Take a deep breath.
take a deep breath. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. All right, so we left off last time with Anise and Bill.
The British guy.
Right. Quick recap. What's their stupid?
So the British guy, he only dates Black women.
Right.
He actually said he has biracial children.
Right. He's a white guy.
Yeah. And Anise basically told him that she's never been in an interracial relationship. And when they show him in his confessional part, he's saying he thought that was kind of a little bit of a red flag that she had never dated outside her race. Would you have thought that that was a red flag if I had never dated outside my race?
I don't know. I guess there's two ways to take it, right? Either, and so, and reminder, we both met when we were 44. So that's the context for folks listening. There's two ways I could take it, right? I could be like, well, that's maybe odd. Maybe, she's just curious. Maybe it doesn't bode well for me. Or, and this is like the egomaniac, right? Where I'd be like, up until now, she just hasn't found a non-Black guy as interesting and fabulous as me. And she finally was like, this is the one. This is the one that breaks down all my walls.
Got it. Yeah.
I would probably go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you would probably go there too.
So no, it would be a positive because I'm a positive to you in my perception.
Boy,
I know.
this podcast is gonna be something, man. This may be me just kind of in my own head, but I think for Black women, if we're dating a white guy or whoever, somebody else outside of our race, and we've never dated that race before, I think for us, it might kind of appear like maybe it's like a fantasy for them.
Right. Well, so for you, bigger red flag. So let's talk just for a second about interracial dating.
Yeah.
Bigger red flag for you. You meet a guy through a dating app, and it's a white guy, and it's two options. Either like Bill in that show, I only date Black women, or I've never dated a Black woman, but you seem nice, and I would like to take you out. Bigger red flag, because we talked about before. For me, I find it odd if you're the
leaning towards red flagish a little bit because
which one is more of a red flag? I only date Black women, or I've never dated a Black woman, but I would like to take you out.
Wow, they're both a little suspect-y.
A red flaggy.
Yeah, they're both not great, I think, because if you only date Black women, why is that? Because he made it sound like he likes like a big personality, that kind of thing. Newsflash, all Black women don't have a big personality.
No, it sounds like almost like the stereotype of like, remember those guys from In Living Color?
Yeah.
Two gay guys who reviewed the movies and 3 snaps in a circle and all the neck roll and like that over the top Black woman stereotype. I know they were men. I'm making the point. That's what.
If that was his answer, basically kind of saying like, oh, and that was his answer. I like dating women with a big personality. I think for me, that would have been kind of a little bit of red flaggy because I would think, okay, I know a lot of white women that got big personalities.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. Yeah, exactly. Had he said, I've never dated outside my race, it's almost kind of like you can't win for losing because that seems kind of red flaggy too. Because to me, like I said, I would be thinking, well, is this like kind of a fetish type thing, or
it's a curiosity?
He's just trying to, find your African queen. You want to, come on, Mr. Charlie, how we doing it tonight? You want that kind of fantasy?
I love it when you say that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things that you say around the house all the time.
I've never said that to you, by the way. But I don't know. I guess they're both kind of red flag-ish. I guess it would depend on how well the date was going. And if I had a lot of things in common with him other than that, right?
So,
But you even said like that was when he said I only date black women. You were like, okay, that's weird.
it is weird to me because it's, and again, we talked, I think, about the difference between preferences and rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a preference if it always has to be that way. That's a rule.
Yeah.
And so if you have a rule that you, as a white, or just let's say non-black guy, that you only date black women, it's a double-edged sword in some ways. In that, you know, you're comfortable with it, you're open to it, but if you are, like, it's mandatory, like, why not a Hispanic woman who has a great personality and who also, you know, so maybe for some dudes, if you play the stereotypes, well, black women maybe have more curves on average. But you can find Latinas with the same type of curves. And so the fact, well, I'm only gonna date black women, it's just odd. Yeah, that you would make it a rule. Now, being open, being open to it. And again, you know, of course, we're talking about dudes like we met in our 40s. These folks are mostly in their 50s or early 60s.
Right.
And so if you've made it that far,
Yeah.
and you've never dated somebody who looks like the person you're having dinner with right now,
Yeah.
it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But maybe, I mean, obviously every story is unique to an individual, so you got to give them some grace, at least maybe hear them out.
Yeah.
But just knowing that little bit, either I never have or I always do, the extremes do seem a little weird to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And let's continue with that one because
With a niece?
yeah, because that came back up, you know, later in the show, and when she's debriefing with her daughter.
A niece basically tells her daughter, I went on another date. He was white. A niece's daughter asked her if he was regular white or chocolate white.
Or was he like a white chocolate guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think she said he was kind of regular.
She said he was kind of regular, but then she went in to say that that's what he normally did.
Well, the quote I wrote down, though, this just made a niece seem so old to me.
Yeah.
So she's like, he's been living this lifestyle for a while.
Oh, yeah. She called it a lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he a crack dealer?
Yeah.
He lives on a boat? Like, I mean, let me think of lifestyle.
Yeah, she definitely made it sound like it was unusual.
It was outlandish.
Yeah.
My word.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you, and I thought that question was funny.
I know exactly what he's getting ready to ask me.
So if after our first date,
Were you regular white?
if one of your dear friends asks you, well, was he regular white or was he like white chocolate?
I think I could have answered after the first date that you definitely weren't regular white. So if somebody asked me, like, is he like real white or is he like kind of got a little flavor? That's how my people would ask that question. They would be like, is he real white or does he have a little flavor? And I would be like, oh, he got some flavor.
Okay.
So that's how we would have answered that. I would have asked that and answered it.
Okay. When I hear like, is he like white chocolate? That strikes me as like a white guy who almost like tries to embody like black stereotypes with dress, with speech.
Okay, no.
Okay.
I felt like what her daughter was asking was what I had on my list. Needs to know about black issues. I don't want to tell him what a do-rag is. Like, I think her asking that meant, does he know about black stuff?
Do you want to recap that real quick for the folks about the list? And
when I'm referring to list, it's a list that I made before I met Rob, and I wrote down a bunch of things that I want in a guy. And one of them was I'm open to dating a white guy because I dated outside my race before. So my thing was I'm open to dating outside my race, but I need them to know about black issues. And I even wrote down, I don't want to have to explain what a do-rag is.
that was on your list?
Yeah, I literally wrote that down. I don't want to have to explain what a do-rag is. And I think Anissa's daughter, that's kind of what she meant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he going to, you're going to have to explain every little like black thing to him.
Well, but doesn't it, and I'm certainly not trying to speak for you, I think I'm speaking for myself or just for the dating populace, that when it comes to differences, now if it could be geographical, it could be national differences, it could be racial differences, whatever, class differences. But doesn't it really just boil down to being comfortable and exuding that level of comfort and not having it be weird?
Oh, of course.
Right.
So for me, I didn't want, because I've been in this position before, what I'm getting ready to tell you. I've been in the position of, I come home, this is my daughter's dad, my ex-husband. I would come home and maybe tell him about maybe somebody who I thought was maybe racist or treating me different because of my skin color. Now, if I come home and tell you that, of course, you're going to want to know all about it. And you're probably going to make a TikTok about him and put him on glass and try to pick him out of business. Okay. There is no way.
What, me?
There's no way he's not going to believe. It's going to be a conversation. And I'm not going to be afraid to tell you what happened, because I know from Jump Street, you're going to believe me. It's not that her dad did not believe me. It turned into kind of,
like education.
well, everything's not about race conversation. And although I know he didn't mean that to be ugly, I think if some white people don't understand, I think just plain blank, some white people don't understand racism. And a lot of times it is a feeling that you get. They don't necessarily have to call you the N-word for it to be a racist encounter. Sometimes it's a feeling that you get. Sometimes it's the way that they talk to you and how they look at you. And that's how we know. So me telling him a lot of those things, he was kind of giving the other person the benefit of the doubt, if you will. Even though he loved me, I think he wanted to convince me that not everything's about race. Right? So I didn't want that guy, because I had that guy before, which is why that was on my list. So I didn't want to have to go down that road again and basically feel like I have to defend myself when I'm talking about race issues, if that makes sense.
Right. A little bit of a tangent, but since we're on the topic, the fact that I had 2 Black daughters when we met, what did that do to your perception of me, for good, bad, indifferent, or nothing?
I don't think that did anything for me as far as race-wise. For me, the red flag for me with that was that, number one, I didn't want to date anybody with kids, but I had to get over that. I think for me, it was adopting them when you and I had already discussed that you didn't want to be in that marriage. So that was something that took me a minute to just really wrap my head around. Because in my head, I'm like, why the fuck are you adopting kids with this woman? And you know you don't want to be with her. I get it. You married her because she, the pregnancy thing, your son, you wouldn't have been able to spend time with your son. When you told me that, I got it, clicked, right? Then it's like, okay, and after we're together for a little while, now we're adopting like 2 kids? Like, to me, that says lifetime. That says I'm not going anywhere. So for me, that was my red flag for you.
Okay, that's fair.
And it really took me a while to wrap my head around that.
But I don't know that there's a great explanation for that, other than the time we were doing that, I was open to having more children, and it wasn't, in my mind, time for me to exit that relationship. Not my proudest moment. I mean, obviously, I'm elated and grateful I have my kids. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is tricky. And I think it's fair to criticize or question all of that.
Right. Yeah. Because I think in my head, you and I were very similar with our first marriages, in that we knew it was a mistake early on. And so for me, it would have been like, okay.
But you weren't about to adopt kids with.
To adopt or have another kid with Jeff, my ex. Yeah. And which definitely was not going to happen. It made me question you for a little bit.
Like an afternoon or a month?
I don't know how long it took, but I think it took some time for me to wrap my head around that.
Okay. No, that's fair. Actually, we've never talked about that either.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
So I feel attacked. No, I think that is absolutely fair. Yeah. All right, so moving on, we had Nate, I think he's 56-year-old guy, went out on another date with the woman named Lisa.
Yes. Yes. And right away you could tell he definitely liked the way she looked.
Yes.
He was attracted to her right away.
You're the woman. Describe Lisa physically.
I would say Lisa is a Black woman, and she was what, in her 60s, 50s, 60s? I think she's in her 60s,
Maybe 60. She did. No, I think she was close to him. I think
like late 50s,
between 55.
late 50s. She was an okay looking woman. I would say for her, she looked okay for her age. But again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So this is me beholding her, telling y'all.
Okay, nice smile.
She had a very nice smile. She was she's built like, to me, like a typical Black woman, like kind of like small on the top and then bam, bam, bam on the bottom, if that's fair to say.
A little parish.
And that was nice. It was nice. She had a nice figure. And clearly he liked that, because even when she walked in, he said he was hoping that was her. And then she turned the corner walking towards him, and he got really, really excited. So you could tell he was really, really attracted to her.
And so one of my bigger takeaways from that, she sits down and he reaches over and pulls up this bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, he always gives flowers on the first date.
And I know that some of these women on this show seem to like expect that or demand that.
So honestly, I don't know if that's like an older thing, but I wouldn't have been mad if you brought flowers on the first date, but I think I would have been a little irritated, just because, okay, now I got to deal with these flowers. Are they going to survive by the time I get home? And then when I get home, now I got to find a vase to put them in so they don't die. And then I got to water them. And so for me, my OCD would have been going crazy. It would have been better to send me flowers after the date and say, hey, had a great time with you. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah,
That's like a hint.
it feels like I'm giving you like a side project, like a little homework assignment.
God, yeah, I'm so glad we're on the same page with that, because it literally feels like a project. Even when we have parties here and somebody just brings flowers and they're not in a vase already, I'm irritated. I won't let them know that I'm irritated, but now, goddamn, now I got to find a vase. I gotta put these things in it with some water. Just come with the vase and the water and everything, and here's your flowers, and all I have to do is set them down on the table.
So note to any of our friends who are listening to the podcast, don't bring Tanya flowers unless they're in a vase. Please and thank you.
For the host, it's extra. It just feels like extra for us.
No, it's like,
And I get it's a wonderful gesture, but especially for a first date, don't do that.
well, it's like we've been out either at clubs or restaurants, sometimes in Mexico, and it's just dudes walking around selling flowers. It's like,
Yeah.
and you want to buy flowers for your lady? Right. No, I don't. Because now I got to carry this freaking thing around.
Okay, we're on vacation. What are we gonna do with those flowers? Like, it's just so, like, I remember one year, I think I traveled somewhere, but I was not be there for a minute, and I can't remember if it was maybe around my birthday or something, or Valentine's Day or something. But I remember you ahead of time. This is when we weren't even married. Ahead of time, you sent flowers to the hotel. And I thought that was so nice, because, and I wasn't worried about him dying or anything, because I think I was there for like at least 4 or 5 days. So it's nice to have something to look at and like, oh my God, he sent me those. How thoughtful. That's classy.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think I've ever brought somebody flowers on a first date.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss out.
Good for you.
You're in good company. But
That is not the thing to do.
But I know I did with you. I don't know if it was after first date, but it was early.
Mhm.
I sent you flowers. I remember sending you flowers to Jazzercise Center.
Yes.
And that was early.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how the Jazzercise Center worked, because it's not open all day.
Yeah. No, that was really nice. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, no flowers on the first date. I think that's a little bit much, but that also, like we said, seems like an older thing to do. I don't mean to, shade nobody, but that does seem like an older way of thinking.
It does. So, but that date seemed to go well. You had a good time. She suggested a selfie at the end of the date.
She did. And that's normally something that he would suggest.
One of his little.
And he was so excited about that.
Yeah.
But his red flag for her is that she has 2 kids at home, still living at her house, and they're in their 30s. So, and to me, I kind of went, okay, what? Hello?
Yeah.
Like, but you know what? I read somewhere that people nowadays are, and I guess the financial experts and all these experts or whatever, or just on life, are saying that it's better to try to keep your kids at home as long as you can. Like even into their 30s, and teach them how to be financially responsible and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, who the hell doing that?
I mean, it would be easy to be financially responsible if I didn't have to pay rent, mortgage, or nothing. That would feel very wealthy. Thank you very much.
I'm like, who the hell doing that? So rightfully so, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Nate says, but I agreed with him on this.
Yeah.
Like that is definitely a red flag.
Yeah, because when I was looking over at you when she said, my 2 children live with me and they're in their 30s. Your face said, "Word." I don't think your voice did, but your face did.
He didn't like that, and I didn't like that.
It's one thing if they're 22, 23, maybe up to 25, depending on the situation.
Right.
But yeah, 30 plus, that's a trip.
Okay, so like you said, she initiated taking the selfie, which that's something we've seen him do on
Pretty much every day.
Pretty much every day,
Yeah.
right? So he seemed excited that she suggested it. He was like, oh, wow. So I thought, oh my God, he's found his perfect match, because it just seemed like even the conversation, they're just going back and forth, right? So when Logan asked him, Logan is the dating coach. She asked him, will there be a second date? He said, I don't know. I think I'm going to wait till this whole process is over. Basically, what that meant was, I'm going to see if I can find somebody better. I did not like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all, because it's just like you coming on this show to find somebody who you match well with and found your person. None of them is looking to just like F around, right? None of them are looking to just, have somebody to kick it with. They all are looking for a relationship and love. The fact that he's like, I might follow when this whole process is over, meaning the show process. So he's hoping he's going to find somebody better, which is honestly, that sounds like a dude thing to me. So I'm going to let you take it from here.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like y'all shitty dudes.
Speaking as the male participant in this discussion, I would like to plead the Fifth Amendment. No, it's definitely what it is. It's like, all right, so, he had gone, of course, to the niece, which didn't click, and went out with somebody else. And now he's on this date. And so he clearly likes her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, the vibe I get is that he's like, well, she's a solid B.
Yeah.
It's solid B, and B's are good.
Okay.
However, what's behind door number 3? I might get an A- over there.
Sorry, I don't like that. Say his Lisa, the girl he went out on the date, the lady he went out on a date with, they seem to be clicking. I was Lisa. When the show was over, if he called me and I saw that on the show, fuck you. Fuck you, because I'm a 10. Ain't nobody better. There's no one better. There's no one greater. And if you can't see that, fuck you.
And that's a negative fuck you, right?
I don't know. How am I supposed to go out with you now? Now I haven't seen the show. And you basically saying, I'm going to see what's behind door number 3, 4, and 5 before I ask her out on another date. Fuck you.
First off, there's only 3 doors on. Let's make a deal. But those are right there is Money Hall, Wayne Brady. What about this? Is this better or worse? Okay. So what we got from him was, see, on process finishes out, I may call her later. Okay. That's door number 1.
Okay.
Door number 2 is, I liked her. And I think I would like to go out with her again. But I ain't stopping. Like, I still want the next date too. So maybe I'll see Lisa on Wednesday, and I'll see whoever you got next on Friday. Because I'm not done. I like her.
I'm just in the lineup.
Now, but it's the beginning of the relationship.
Okay, you know what? I don't mind that so much. Let's switch it. In real life, that's how it would probably be.
That is right. How it goes.
Because like if we're going out on a date one doesn't mean I'm tied to you. We ain't made no commitments on day 1, right? You free to go. Did you go out with somebody after you went out with me on date 1? Is that what this is doing? Oh my God, I'm gonna need a shot. Let me.
I don't think so.
Let me take a sip, child. I'm taking a sip. We listen and we judge the fuck out of you. So go.
No.
And I want to warn you, this is not a safe space.
I don't think I did. I remember I told you that I had, I was talking to some people and I had to let them know.
Honestly, don't think you did. We both were pretty honest with each other. It was funny because we both did it at the same time, kinda. Like I remember certain texts that you send me, I remember where I was. And I was waiting in the doctor's office. And you were saying, telling me that there was somebody that you had kind of went out on a few dates before me. Wasn't anything serious, but you said you told her that basically somebody else that you want to pursue, and it seems like it's going somewhere, and you were like, and then you wrote at the bottom, you're like, and that's you, right? So that I told you about the same thing. I did the same thing. So it's funny, we both kind of like said that, like like we were dating people, just dating, but it wasn't anything serious, but we even cut that off.
Right. But yours was a slow guy, right?
Yeah, it was slow, dude. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not even feeling like that's much of a win, really. You got a guy, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But I mean, just the way you've spoken of it.
I'm just saying, we're not even going down that road.
We went and then we came back.
I'm basically saying that in real life, that's probably what would happen, right? If it went out with Lisa,
Agreed.
They may have gone out on the first date, and maybe he went out with somebody else 3 days later, and then asked Lisa on a second date. You're not tied clang together after date one. But whoever, this is a TV show. And if he plans on dating Lisa again, I don't think I would have said that on the show. That I'm going to see, I'm going to wait till this process is over and to call her again. I wouldn't have said that. He should have just said, I would love a second date with her. But I also want to see, there's a way we could have worded that to say he's still going to continue to date.
Right.
But he definitely wants to see her again.
Right. I'm curious enough about her to see where it goes.
Exactly.
But I don't know yet if this is where I'm going to land.
Yeah. But don't say I'm going to wait till the process is over, because i.e. that means I'm going to wait to see if I find somebody better than you. Fuck you. I'm answering for Lisa already. Fuck you.
Good. All right. Well, I hope you and Lisa have a lovely time. All right. So then we get to Lori and Ty.
And her date with Ty. He's divorced, 7 years single, and has 3 kids is what I wrote down.
Right. So 7. So this, we presume, was filmed in 2024. 7 years single means he was probably single around about 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It becomes relevant later.
Yes, it does become relevant later. When she walked in, he commented on her toes, her pedicure,
her feet.
So obviously he's a feet guy,
right? Which you love.
No. Oh my God. So a sidebar. This is just funny. This is why we said you would enjoy the podcast, even though you haven't watched the episodes, because we put our little 2 cents in on our personal experience. So I was dating this guy one time, and he really wanted me to talk dirty to him, right? And I'm just not really into dirt talk, like, unless it comes natural. I don't want to feel like I have to rehearse a script.
Right.
This is one of the stupid things I said to him and to my mom. I said, I like the way your feet rubs up against my back. Number one, this feet ain't never rubbed up against my back. Number 2, I'm not a foot person. I don't know why I said that. I think I just thought of feet. I don't know why I said that. But after I said it, I just immediately stopped laughing. Yeah, when you're in the bedroom, guys don't like it when you laugh. So that hit wrong. That hit real wrong. So anyway.
Was that the last date?
You know what? It might have been. It might have been. And it wasn't like this was like a first date. Like, we've been dating for a minute.
Given the fact that you were engaged in dirty talk.
Thank you. Okay. Exactly. Right. Thank you. I'm not a hoe. Okay. So we've been dating.
He's not just dirty talking with every Tom, Dick, and Harry down at the store.
But it was, and I might have said that because maybe he always commented on my feet. Like, I'm thinking back, because every time, like, I always get a pedicure. It doesn't matter. Winter, spring, summer, fall, I will always get a pedicure to keep my toes nice. But that's just me. And I think maybe I said feet because he always complimented me after I got a pedicure. Oh, your feet look nice. So maybe that's why I said it. So I don't know. I'm not into feet. I really don't. Not that I don't like people who are into feet, but it's not my thing. I just think it's kind of weird for me personally. I feel as though.
Mm-mm.
But he said you could tell like he was definitely into feet because he commented on her toes a few times. It wasn't just like the one time.
Well, and then she kind of egged him on, like, "Oh, you like my feet," kind of thing. So that whole interaction was weird to me.
She didn't like. He wore a long sleeve, like nice button down shirt, and he wore a white T-shirt underneath.
Did he have a blazer on?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Oh yeah, whoa.
Go ahead.
He didn't have a blazer.
And then like a blue shirt.
But he had the T-shirt on and
a white T-shirt.
And the T-shirt was kind of peeking through, right?
Yeah, for the time.
And that's one of the things she commented on in her confessional. She was like, ugh, white T-shirt underneath. That's gross. That's kind of how she said it.
Yeah.
But to me, now that is an old school thing. Because I do remember as a kid, like, and going to church and stuff, they always wore a white T-shirt underneath their shirt. So, like, is that a bad thing now? I don't think I would, like, clock somebody or it would be a negative mark if I saw that.
I mean, would it be better if it was a black T-shirt or
I know.
yellow T-shirt?
But she mentioned that more than once.
Right. Yeah.
And she mentioned it to the dating coach.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an odd interaction. He wasn't much on eye contact.
Well, she commented that, like, while he was talking to her, so she calls him out and says, "What's over there? I'm right here." Like, and I just thought that was kind of rude because even when I'm talking to my friends and stuff, like, I might make eye contact, but I might kind of look around and stuff and talk. That's just, to me, just natural.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean,
I think it was noticeable to me that he was like talking to somebody like this, but he's kind of like looking over here. So I got this many tables.
I just kind of chopped it up to kind of a nervous tick thing.
In a very well could be.
Yeah. I mean, because he's not a main character on the show, but his part is on the show. So if you've never been on TV like that can be a little nerve-wracking.
Sure.
Knowing that, you got, 5 cameras in front of you, or how many of it I got. You know what I mean? So that could just be a nervous thing. And, I just thought she was kind of a bitch for saying that. I didn't like that. So she was asking him what he does, and he's telling her about his job and stuff. I don't remember exactly what he said.
He's an entrepreneur.
Okay. But he's basically saying, like, a lot of stuff that he does and stuff. She was like, well, it seems like you're real busy. You won't have time for me, right? And he says, I will always find time if I'm interested in someone. And that is definitely a dude thing. Like, we don't get. We're like, oh, he busy. My brothers told me a long time ago, they were like, if a guy is into you, I don't care if we're like the president, and we do this, and we do this, and we do this. He was like, we're going to make time to let you know we're interested in you and contact you. Right. So it reminds me when you had messaged me on the app, and then we took the app to the phone, right? Text message. And I remember you're like talking to me and stuff, and it's during the day. And I was like at home. I think I was off. I was off from Dell.
Yeah.
At that time.
December time.
For like vacation and holidays, and got a lot of time off. So I was off, and I watched it at home, watching my housewives and stuff like I normally did. And I remember like we had been texting for a minute, a long text stream. And I remember asking you, I was like, you're an attorney. I was like, how do you have time to text me? And I remember you said something like that. Like, I basically make time for things that are important to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, with the whole, and that's, I think we did a video TikTok about that a couple of months ago too, but the idea that I'm too busy to text. Yeah, I text takes fine.
Nobody's too busy to text.
Not if they read.
And everybody has their phone.
Absolutely. And there wasn't much to talk about. We did visit Pam a little bit, and she recapped her date with the guy who was like the musician and stuff. And she was talking to her granddaughter about him, and she was saying that it felt like he was not necessarily into her. But part of the discussion was, I guess he travels for work, right?
Right.
And so he was telling her basically like, look, I'm gonna be traveling this week, so basically you take care now. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, neither of us understood why I'm going out of town.
I can't text you.
Right. That was very much out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And so while Pam was taking that as kind of getting blown off or ghosted or just not, it was a break in Divide.
I agree with a lot of stuff that Pam said, but I agree with her on that.
Yeah, no, that was weird. Like, I'm going over to Tennessee for the week, so I guess I'll see you when I get back.
Yeah, I thought that was very odd.
Yeah.
He asked her if they were going to go on a second date.
Yeah, back to Lori.
Back to Lori and Ty.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, she said, what kind of date? Like, what are we going to be doing? He suggested bird watching.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't like that. And then he suggested
bird watching
something about
like you are.
hiking. And he suggested hiking. She was like, I don't like to hike. Like, he's naming all of this stuff that she doesn't want to do.
Nature walk.
Yeah. So anyway, they said basically they'll figure it out. So then they're getting to the point where they exchanged phone numbers. Lori already has his number in her phone. She said that they met on Plenty of Fish on May 8th, 2017. And he didn't remember. He was like, wait, what? She was like, I knew I recognized you. I knew I recognized you. She goes, see, this is the last message you and I had, and you never wrote me back. So she doesn't know why he never wrote her back. And of course, he says he doesn't remember.
My theory is that
Your theory is that he was still married.
he had, other obligations and whatnot. They can't always feel that, some can't be together anymore, because of my obligations. Yeah. Kiss and say goodbye for the music man.
I don't know. Maybe he was still married.
The 70, or maybe we find out.
Well, it's a lot of married people on Plenty of Fish, just FYI.
Not anymore. It's gotten better.
Stop it. Oh my God. All right. I think we beat that today.
Yeah. So now we're on to Suzanne and Avery.
Oh, Suzanne and Avery.
This was actually my favorite Suzanne episode, and that had nothing to do with her. She still makes me sigh every time she comes in on the scene.
Suzanne's a trip. She is a trip. Shows always have that one person, and every time they show up, it's gonna be something. It's Suzanne for this.
Yeah.
For this.
No, she's for this show.
Yeah, she's great she's great. She makes a great TV.
She's not our favorite,
but Avery came over and they went to a Bulldog game together.
She's big Georgia Bulldog,
and she said she was going to test him. That's why she put like Georgia Bulldog sticker on his face.
Right. So he's an Alabama fan.
Yeah, and honestly, he seemed fun with it.
Yeah. Well, because I think we covered this in an earlier episode, but he has like the proper perspective on this whole rivalry.
He's a good sport.
I'm an Alabama fan. You're a Georgia fan. We can be friends, 364 days a year. On that one day when they play each other, we can sit on opposite sides or whatever. Let's just be a fun rivalry.
He doesn't sound like it's a make or break deal for him like it is for her.
No. And he was even laughing like, if my friends see me with this Georgia sticker, I'm going to catch holy hell.
Yeah, and that's okay.
But that's fun.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Right. And that's what he was doing.
Right. But she's still like, I don't know. He's an Alabama fan.
Yeah, she was unnecessarily weird about that.
But they went to the game. He was a good sport. They seemed to have a good time. He really likes her. But the best part was on the ride home.
So on the ride home, they're talking. And again, this is just what we see. Obviously, it's edited. They have tons of clips they have to choose from. And the producers, strategically put these clips together and we see what we see.
However, what you're about to say, there was no way that was going to end on the cutting room floor.
No. They heard this and they were like, oh yeah, this is definitely making the episode.
Yeah.
So basically, Avery tells Suzanne that he's now into threesomes. Yeah, you heard me right. Take a sip. You heard me right.
Yeah, let's cheers to that.
Avery, I don't know why we're cheersing on this.
I'm not saying whether we're cheersing to not having threesomes or having threesomes. It's a non-committal cheers.
So Avery tells Suzanne he's not into threesomes. He's never had a threesome. He never will. That's just he's not into. That disturbed me, people.
Well, the context, and you're right.
Says he would never do that.
We don't know exactly how this came down, but the way it was cut in the show was like, that was a fun game. I really liked you. We had a great time.
But by the way they showed it, it looked like it was a shock to her that he even said that.
Okay, in fairness, threesomes are always going to be a shock to Suzanne. But no, you're right. But yeah, it sounded like, hey, it was a fun game today. It was a good time. I'm really attracted to you. I think you're great. By the way, the one thing I'm not into is threesomes.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it went. I had Rob pause it because I was like, what the fuck? Yep. That's exactly what I said. And I said, I don't know and you basically can fight me on this if you want to. I will go to my grave saying this. I don't know any dude that would turn down a threesome. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You might tell me you're not into that to make me feel more comfortable, but there is no way if I'm telling you I met this gorgeous girl at the club and it's been my fantasy to do a threesome, will you do it? And are you telling me that Avery's going to say, no, I would never do that? No, hell, no. That's not, no, no. I don't know any dude's going to turn down threesome if it's the female's suggestion.
I almost agree with you.
Okay, do tell.
I almost agree with you.
Okay. Why almost?
The concept of a threesome, I'm with you. And again, we'll get back to him being weird because that didn't mean I don't want to have a threesome. But
It did.
no, that meant the opposite. That was him feeling her out to say, like, you know what I really don't want is a threesome. And so she could come back with, I mean, in the right circumstance. Because it's weird if he says, so how do you feel about threesomes? Right? You can't say that.
Yeah.
What you can say is, you know what I hate? Threesomes. And just to gauge her response, right? I had one, because he even said, like, I don't know if you had them before, but I would never.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Okay. No. So, no, but back to your point.
Okay.
So let's go back 12 years or so. We've been dating a couple months.
Some shit. Okay.
And you're like, this is going great. I think we should have a threesome. Now, I'm not saying, no, ma'am, that is outrageous. No more ballyhoo. So no, that's not the response. But what if you were like, we want to have a threesome with me, you, and my best friend. Me, you, and my sister.
Oh, God, no. Okay. Well, no female's ever going to say that.
That's what I'm saying. If the dynamic is the recipe for explosiveness.
So I said I wanted to have a threesome with a best friend at that time. You would have said no.
I would have had serious reservations because that is a recipe for disaster.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Oh, it's total recipe for disaster.
I would have just blurted out, no, ma'am. I don't know. It depends on the stage of the relationship. But no, so yeah, it would have been, are you sure?
Okay. Only if you want to. Bitch, please.
Oh, wait, I get to pick the friend? Okay, well.
Oh, damn. Yeah. It's,
That's what I really wanted to have a threesome with was your friend, what's your name? I'm just playing.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to stop this right now. Don't even. But I'm sorry. I don't agree with Avery. Like, I don't think he's telling the truth.
Oh, no, he is fishing for her to be open to it.
Thank you.
Because it's not something he's never done. It is his favorite thing.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. I'm glad
I mean, I hear it's nice.
Anyway, moving on. But
I'm non-committally moving on.
She seems to like him. He definitely likes her.
Yeah, she's always looking for things to be wrong with people.
But we'll see where that goes. That's the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Suzanne's always weird, and she's always just gonna be weird. But
yeah.
However, the other thing that I made Rob pause the TV on is they panned the kitchen while Suzanne was talking to Avery in her kitchen.
I'll take things white women do for 500 euros.
Her red shoes that she had just worn were sitting on the kitchen island. Actually, it wasn't an island. It was actually like it's the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
I saw those shoes and I was like, the fuck? Her nasty shoes are on. And this is exactly why I don't like eating other people's food. We would have potlucks at Dell. If I didn't know you, I didn't eat your food. This is why right here.
And I bet some of the people you did know, you didn't eat their food.
Well, I know I did, yeah. But that's nasty. You can put you go put your shoes on the table. You putting your shoes, ew, you nasty. Sorry, I thought that was gross. And stuff will gross me out before it will gross Rob out. He has a higher tolerance than I do, but that even grossed him out.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
I too was sitting there like, ooh, you nasty. And same reaction.
That's what you said, baby.
I did.
You name for you.
Yep. I think that was the words that came right out of my mouth.
Anyway, I just thought that was gross.
It was gross. Yeah, Suzanne's a trip.
Suzanne is something else.
I think she has a good heart, but she
See why they chose her for the show?
oh my God. She's probably the easiest one.
Oh, good God. Yeah. They were like, oh, this is gonna get ratings for sure. Yeah, she's definitely good TV. And what's so funny is I don't think she's trying to be good TV. That's who she is.
No, she's on
I think that's literally who she is.
It's just
Right?
she gave the most awkward kiss to that Avery guy. As they were kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
saying, she gives this, and if you're watching, like, it's like this big like projectile, like just putting her lips all the way out, like
Yeah. It's almost like you know how when you see a little baby, right? And it's like not a stranger's baby, but a baby that you know. And they come over, you're like, oh, give me a kiss, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how
It's the big like
yeah, the over exaggerated lips.
yes, and that's how she kissed him at kind of the end of their date.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what kind of kiss is that?
It seemed like a guarded way to not have to give like a real romantic kiss. Okay, right? Like if we're doing this, we're clearly not doing that.
Oh my God, that's totally it. Yeah. I was like, that's not an end of the date kiss. That's not the end of a good date kiss, right?
No.
If a date went really, really well and looked like their date went really well and they really liked each other, that is not the kiss that ends that date. Yeah, it was really weird. And then she even grabbed his face. Yeah, she grabbed his face. Okay.
All right, I think we're done with her. What else did you have on your list, my love?
Let's just touch on a niece real quick. They went back to her when she was meeting with the dating coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the dating coach was telling her that, you know, a lot of times she seems very guarded. Right. So a niece got very emotional about everything that she took on.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
husband died.
Right, and as to recall, her husband died when the kids were little.
They were little.
Right.
Yeah. And she, you know, so she describes it as it was just a regular day. And then it ended with him being in the hospital and him dying. And so that's got to be a lot for her. So to me, I feel like I kind of understand a little bit now why she is kind of guarded with her kind of bringing that out. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And then her daughter had some nice things to say about how much she appreciated what she had done for her.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking forward to the next episode for sure. If you haven't watched it, I think this is a fun show to watch. And I feel like you don't even have to be a later dater to enjoy it.
No.
Right? Like I know, like, you know, we're older, we're in our 50s, but I don't let that deter you from watching the show. I don't think it's an age thing.
It's a relationship show.
I think there are lots of things that they do that anyone could relate to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, in this particular episode, they had just a few minutes where the daters were talking to either their kids or people younger than them, although Pam was with her granddaughter.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how dating used to be with personal ads and all.
Yeah.
And they kind of run through like how things have changed over time.
Yeah.
Did you ever do a personal ad?
I did not. I never did a personal ad. No. I think the personal ad stuff, it was kind of a little bit before.
It's Seal's 80s.
I feel like by the time you and I were dating, I feel like that was kind of out.
I think so too.
I think we missed that mark. I think the app stuff had kind of taken over.
Well, we were in situations, you know, whether it's in school or whatever, or, you know, where that wouldn't have been we weren't having trouble meeting people.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So, but yeah, it's definitely a fun show. And so next week we'll talk about episode 5.
We will. Cheers, babe.
But thanks for listening. Cheers.
Till next time.
Yes, take a sip.